What has happened is a very good question. We don't for sure know. The truth we have is that Mr. Erdogan, who is not the most liberal person in the Middle East, is talking very often now about having nuclear arms. The last time in September, at the 100th anniversary of the War of Independence, he made a speech and he said, "I am one of the nations which does not have missiles with nuclear power. All the others have missiles with nuclear power. Why not us?" And then he mentioned Israel and said, "Israel, does Israel have nuclear power weapons? Do they have nuclear arms?" He said, "Yes, they do, and they bully everybody in the neighborhood, and nobody can do anything about Israel." So we as a nation, he said also at the United Nations in September at the General Assembly, he declared either all of the nations should have the possessions of nuclear weapons or no one. So that is against all the principles of non-proliferation, which Turkey signed, and he is moving away from that. He is moving slowly but surely away from that because he sees his neighbors and he wants to be a very powerful figure in politics. A lot of things will change because it is not only Iran which is under great trouble because of the United States sanctions, because they don't want Iran to have nuclear arms. If the NATO partner, Turkey, now is also asking for arms and is arming themselves. So what comes to the balance of power in that region? You have Saudi Arabia, which is discussing openly and also secretly the installation of nuclear weapons, the development of nuclear weapons for Saudi Arabia. Nobody knows how far they are. We know that Israel has nuclear weapons for a long time. We know that maybe Turkey will have nuclear weapons. So we are coming into a very unusual arms race. And an arms race also because Turkey is a member of NATO. And Turkey is part of the NATO strategy of the umbrella, nuclear defense umbrella, which means Turkey is protected by NATO agreements. So if Turkey now goes their own way, we don't know. Turkey already has gone a new way. Turkey, for example, bought recently an anti-missile system from the Russians. If you think Turkey is a NATO member, now arming themselves with Russian weapons, which are the enemy or the opposition of our European and Western values, it is a development which is a dangerous one. It is a question difficult to answer, but the probability that he will try to use the possibility that he could arm himself with nuclear weapons will threaten the alliance in one way or the other, because there's also, as very recently Erdogan met Putin in the whole question about the Turkish invasion in Syria and the fight against the Kurds. They also discussed apparently the establishment, the building of nuclear power stations by Russia in Turkey. So if we come into that kind of development, that suddenly Turkey is not playing the NATO card anymore, but is going a global independent way, then we are facing situations which nobody can predict, but those developments will not be very positive.